So it's no secret that I'm quite a big Borderlands fan, and we are just 47 days away from the release of Borderlands 4. And so I thought, to commemorate this exciting time while waiting for Borderlands 4 to come out, I'm gonna try and kill a raid boss every single day until Borderlands 4 comes out. So this is another day of killing one raid boss a day until Borderlands 4 releases. Let's get into it. And I think for today's boss kill, we are going to be heading over to Krieg's Mine to fight Sponge Boss. Now, Sponge Boss, you might think, hey, that's not a raid boss. However, he actually has, raid boss level HP, and so for all intents and purposes, he definitely classes as a raid boss. Now, yeah, in Borderlands 3, they kind of did away with the naming system. Not all of the raid boss level enemies, as it were, actually have raid boss in their name, which is a little bit weird. I don't really know why they did away with it, but Sponge Boss on his base version has about, 4 billion HP, which is just absolutely absurd. So he definitely classifies as a raid boss, and I'm not really sure why they, kind of did away with the whole invincible system, but they did, and so I'm just totally going the wrong way. They did do away with the naming system for most of the enemies, but like I said in some of my old videos, it still does count as a raid boss. And since we are trying to make our way through 90 odd days of this, raid boss every single day, I feel like any extra raid boss that we can kill is probably well worth it. So let's head on down to try and find Sponge Boss. Now, in the last Sponge Boss video, I did actually level him up to max level, and it was absolutely horrendous. I do not recommend that anyone ever does it. It was honestly one of the most just awkward and painful things I've ever done in Borderlands 3. It was ridiculous, quite frankly, and I don't recommend you do it. So we're just going to kill Sponge Boss at his base version, because I literally don't have 2 hours of my life to try and level him up by getting him to kill the random AI. So yeah, that is what it is. Getting him to level up, getting Goliaths to level up in Borderlands 3 in general is just absolutely horrible. And on Mayhem 11, when it takes him about 400 punches to kill one guy, it's a bit ridiculous. So regardless, there it is, the spiky pineapple under the sea there, and Sponge Boss is just inside. Now, before we get inside, let's talk about the build very quickly. Now, this build is actually going to be mostly focused on the PYROBURST grenade, which is a bit of a slept-on grenade, but can be found in the vault card for the Welcome to Pandora. You can see it here, the PYROBURST grenade, and it is a bit of a slept-on grenade, actually. It can do some pretty significant damage, especially when you set it up correctly with Moze. Now, as you can see here, we are pairing it with a few different weapons, Guardian Angel, of course, so while we're further away from the enemies, we're going to be dealing increased damage. We have a Plasma Coil, because the Plasma Coil is just kind of great anyway. A Revolter for Action Skill Start gives us that 200% extra shock damage, and this will apply to our grenade. We have the Minesweeper for landing crits, but mostly this is there for the splash damage bonuses and the +5 in the skill you can see there. The PYROBURST grenade, of course, which is going to be our main source of damage, giving us our action skill active grenade damage increased by 150%, which is very important indeed, and an elemental projector deathless relic. So this is going to reserve all of our HP except for one, and you can see we have one singular HP, but we do have double the shield capacity and better recharge rate and delay, plus the elemental damage boost, increased grenade damage, incendiary damage, and area of effect damage. A very good relic the elemental projector is. Now, for the skill build quickly, we are spec'd all the way down into the Demolition Woman skill tree here. You can see here we have the Moze deals splash damage, she deals bonus incendiary damage. This is going to be a core skill in helping us out with the PYROBURST. Have Iron Bear cooldown here. We have the splash damage granting us ammo directly into the mag, and grenades, so pretty much have infinite ammo here. That's very nice. Grenades can crit. This is amazing. Allowing your grenades to deal crit damage is kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. And there are another bunch of good skills here. Fight for life grenades, Moze's gun damage. There's a chance of secondary explosion at the target, dealing more explosive damage. Very good. Splash damage, again, trying to boost up all of those things that pair well with splash damage, as well as extra grenade capacity there. All the way down the red tree, well, not quite at the bottom, but the red tree here is going to give us a bunch of extra damage bonuses and things that are going to help us keep alive. We have Moze's health being added to the shield. We have stuff like fire rate, gun damage skills. We have the Iron Bear crit hit steal bonus incendiary damage when we want to jump into Iron Bear. We have gun damage. We have all the kill skills, which unfortunately we're not really going to need for these raid bosses, but they are good for sort of general combat. we are part of the way down the green tree as well, because this is going to give us some bonus to incendiary damage as well. Like here, we have our bonus incendiary damage. Every 4 shots don't consume ammo. I have the turret here because it is just kind of fun. And, you know, if we are using Iron Cub like we are at the minute, then it will give you that sort of 20% bonus Iron Cub damage, which is pretty good. But the turret is kind of fun if you're actually doing regular Iron Bear as well. We have, again, increased incendiary damage by Iron Cub. The crit hits regenerate ammo, fire rate, and crit hit damage are amazing, of course. And equipping 2 of the same weapons gives us bonus Iron Bear damage, which we are indeed doing. And here we just have action skill is calling down bonus incendiary damage as well. Once again, all of that bonus incendiary damage hoping to culminate in a lot of incendiary damage with the PYROBURST grenade here. Now, if you're actually wondering what the grenade does, basically when you throw it out, it will bounce up in the air a few times. So you can see it there, and they will spawn these elemental orbs, which will then like drop down and seek and home onto the enemies, which you probably saw doing before. So it's a bit of a like an interesting grenade, and yeah, kind of slept on in my opinion, but it can do some pretty insane damage. Like say if you set it up with all the elemental damage bonuses, and you see these elemental orbs will home onto enemies, and you see they're kind of just like dropping in and rinsing. Unfortunately, as you're probably seeing as well, it is very noisy and also can quite easily cause you to, you know, die, as you can see. So you have got to be careful while using this grenade. Do not be surprised if you do accidentally down yourself a little bit, but the grenade is pretty good. Lob them from long range, use a Guardian Angel, and just kind of reap the rewards of all of that juicy grenade crit damage when it actually decides to hit properly, because half the time it's just not even going to hit properly, but the other half of the time you're going to be very happy with how much damage it's dealing. So yeah, that's how the grenade works essentially. So let's, God, it's so beautiful as well, look at it, goddamn. So yeah, let's head on down to fight Sponge Boss and hopefully take him down. So let's spawn in our good old Sponge Boss. Hello, big stab there. Spawn in our Iron Cub, and let's just throw a couple of PYROBURST grenades. And you see here, this guy does have a ridiculously large amount of HP. And, oh god, you can see here, when we are getting the crits, let's see if I can kill him in 5 feet alive, we can chunk him down. Oh, and he's dead. There we go. That was, yeah, pretty... Oh, I'm just killing myself again. Okay, alright, very good. No, Iron Cub, res me. Yeah, so as you probably saw there, this grenade can get a little bit ridiculous. And if you can get those grenade crit hits to proc, you can, like I said, very easily wipe out enemies with great efficiency. So there we have it, Sponge Boss down. Just a pretty quick one for you there today, because, you know, I didn't fancy taking on a ridiculously hard raid boss, and SpongeBob still just has a very formidable amount of HP regardless. So yeah, the PYROBURST grenade, it is a pretty awesome grenade with Mo's. Be sure to check it out. I will put a link to some builds in the description down below if you're interested, and I will see you tomorrow for another raid boss kill. Thanks very much for watching, take care, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.